Hi, I'm Pastor Dave, and this is a video commentary through the book of Matthew. We're going to be in chapter 16, and I want to look at the confession of Peter that Jesus is the Christ. So let's look at Matthew 16, and I believe we're going to start in verse 15. He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter replied, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered him, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." What does he mean by that you are the rock, and that this is the foundation upon which I will build my church? Now, the Apostle Peter is considered by the Catholic Church as to be the first pope, and they will look at this as a proof text of that. However, we don't really, most theologians don't really interpret it in that way. Yes, there is that meaning there that, Peter is a rock, but it's not on Peter that the church is built, but upon the confession that Jesus is the Christ. And we find further, as we cross-reference the Apostle Paul, he speaks of Jesus and the apostles' teaching as a foundation of the Church of Christ. So he's not saying it's based on Peter, but on the confession of Peter. And then it says that the gates of hell shall not prevail against us. This is really kind of interesting because we don't think of gates normally in a offensive manner. That is that, no one's running down the street with a pair of gates. What does that mean? Well, when you look at the term gates, the gates of the city, often in that culture was where there was authority. Those who were judges, those who were decision makers in the city would be at the city gate. And so the authority of hell no longer has power over the church, doesn't have power over God's people. And so the authorities, basically what he's saying is the authorities of hell will not prevail. The devil is not going to prevail. Death is not going to prevail over the church. In fact, the church, Jesus' church, through Jesus Christ, conquers death, is going to conquer what previously would have all authority on earth. Now, we know that the devil is called the ruler of this age, the god of this world. And so when you look at gates, you have to look at it in terms of authority. There's also the geographic location that kind of plays into that, and we'll look at that in another commentary. But again, we're talking about authority. Death reigns over this world. There is darkness, and there is all these things that can affect us in a way where we don't have hope, but we do have hope if we hope in Jesus Christ, because it's through him that we are not defeated by the authorities of or by the gates of hell. And so, no, that's where you need to be. You need to be with Jesus. You need to be with his church and in the kingdom of God. And that's where you begin to defeat the powers of darkness. We'll get into a little bit more of that as we get further on into the commentaries, but hopefully that helps you to understand that. What does he mean by gates of hell? And also the confession is the foundation upon, that's the rock. Jesus is the rock. Peter's not the rock. Peter's a rock, but Jesus is the rock. He's the cornerstone, in fact. And that is, again, the Apostle Paul mentions that. It's also in the Old Testament, it's prophesied that he will be that rock of offense, that he will be the cornerstone. And so, again, all this language is really important. And so hopefully that will help you in understanding this portion of Matthew. If that helps you, God bless. And if you want to hear more about these commentaries, these videos, go ahead and click the subscribe button. We also encourage you to go to hopechapelwestside.net and download our app, or go to one of the app stores. And our app is available with many other teachings. God bless, and we'll see you again next time.